time is 1 o'clock, 70 degrees. We now go to downtown Grand Rapids for live coverage of the Judy Garland Festival Parade.
Follow the yellow brick road.
A good afternoon to you from downtown Grand Rapids. Dale Randall, along with Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Sandy Lehman, as we will be here to comment live on this grand parade that kicks off the Judy Garland Festival and the 50th anniversary of the motion picture The Wizard of Oz. Good afternoon to you, Sandy.
Good afternoon, Dale. I'm so happy to be here on this gorgeous June day.
We're happy to have you with us, and you're right. The Wizard himself couldn't have come up with a better day weather-wise for this parade and this festival.
Well, the sun is certainly shining on Grand Rapids on this June 10th for the kickoff of the 50th anniversary of the celebration of the making of The Wizard of Oz.
There is a large crowd on hand here, Sandy.
We're just trying to estimate, and it's in the thousands, certainly. The crowds are lined up and down the entire length of the parade route.
I think that perhaps the attention that this festival has garnered around the state, the upper Midwest, the nation, and for that matter, around the world, is far beyond the expectations of the many people involved in the planning of the Judy Garland Festival. When you find out that there have been inquiries as far away as Iran, and even an inquiry from Pennsylvania from a gentleman who had virtually a Judy Garland shrine in his house. And when you take a look at the network coverage, television network, and of course Twin Cities media coverage, just been outstanding.
It's far more than we ever could have expected, Dale. Right now I have CBS News headquartered in my office right out of New York. It's just fantastic, the coverage that we're getting.
All right, and for those of you watching on ICTV, we welcome you. You are at this moment watching the North Star Shrine Club Cycle Patrol. Now, the Shrine Cycle Patrol, a fixture at parades in the Grand Rapids area for years and years and years. This unit has performed nationally and at many parades and festivals, and has also won many national and international awards. The Shrine Cycle Patrol, I often wondered how it is, it's one thing to do the maneuvers, but how it is you do it with somebody 2 feet away from you on another motorcycle.
It's just amazing. It's always fun to watch the Shrine Patrol kicking off the Tall Timber Days Parade, and now today kicking off the Judy Garland Parade.
Let's watch them. For those listening, you may or may not be able to hear the sirens and the engines in the background, but if you don't hear them yet, you will soon as they make their way down the parade route. Interesting parade route today, Sandy. The parade originating at the birthplace, the home of Judy Garland.
Correct, and I think it's the first time we've had a parade coming from east to the west. We're used to parades going in the opposite direction.
This is a 45-unit parade today, and I tell you, there are some delightful entries in this parade. First of all, we're going to hear some music from some bands, but also one of the original Munchkins is here.
That's correct. From
the motion picture, The Wizard of Oz. We will also see Miss Minnesota, the Aquatennial Queen as well. I should say princess. I want to be precise.
We've got several high school bands here today as well, Dale. It should be an exciting musical parade.
That's right. We'll be hearing from them a little bit later as the North Star Shrine Cycle Patrol makes its way in front of the reviewing stand at which we are located. Always spectacular maneuvering by the Shrine Cycle Patrol. Live coverage of the Judy Garland Festival Grand Parade on KOZY, brought to you by the Norwest Bank, one of the major sponsors of the Garland Festival here in the Grand Rapids area. Also by Franklin Foods, and always at your service, Minnesota Power. These are the people bringing you live coverage of the parade today. A figure eight of sorts by the North Star Shrine Cycle Patrol.
Well, the expectation is rising here, Dale. There they go.
Again, a long parade route, and from here on the reviewing stand, you can see that there are throngs lined up as far as we can see along the route, which is not something that you always see. Generally, they are located more in the downtown area, but obviously a lot of people in attendance here at the parade, and we know already from other reports that there are many, many here from outside the Grand Rapids area.
We're up here on the reviewing stand, Dale. We have a few dignitaries with us. We have Mayor Craig, I believe. We have Carol Erickson, who is the committee chair for the Judy Garland Festival.
She is here, and she happens to be with Michael Shaw, who has brought the traveling Wizard of Oz memorabilia show direct from Hollywood to Grand Rapids for this festival. Again, the North Star Shrine Club Cycle Patrol, thrilling the crowd as always. I alluded to the recognition the patrol has received internationally. I think for a time there, every year they were winning the Midwest Regional in Canada, year in, year out. Whether it be in Toronto, Winnipeg, or wherever, they were always a highlight of the competition.
Coming into view now, Dale, I think we're going to be looking at the color guard.
The color guard is composed of local veterans organizations, the American Legion, veterans of foreign wars, the disabled veterans, and Vietnam veterans. Viewers along the parade route and on ICTV Channel 2 now watching the color guard as it makes its way along the parade route. The Norwest Bank, one of the major sponsors of the Judy Garland Festival in the Grand Rapids area, and also bringing you today's live parade coverage on KOZY. Of course, the Norwest Bank, a fixture in the business community of Grand Rapids, and there for all of your financial needs. The Norwest Bank, a major sponsor of the Judy Garland Festival.
The crowd are now rising to their feet as the colors pass in front of the crowd.
Veterans groups well represented in today's parade, and they're getting a round of applause as they pass. The Grand Rapids High School Band will also be advancing past the reviewing stand in just a few moments. The color guard now directly in front of the reviewing stand. Yet again composed of local veterans organizations, including American Legion, VFW, disabled veterans, and Vietnam veterans. And again, Dale Randall, along with Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Sandy Lehman, who's joined me for today's commentary on the parade. And Sandy, as director of the Chamber, you have to be pleased with the exposure this community is getting with this Garland Festival.
Just outstanding, Dale. As I said earlier, it's more than could ever have been expected. We're getting national coverage, and we have folks from all over the country as well as all over the world. As you noted earlier, we have a fellow from Australia here. We had inquiries as far away as Iran. Now, I don't know if the fellow from Iran has arrived.
I don't know. Jerry Gallus from the Visitor and Convention Bureau may be able to shed some light on that. We can touch base with him a little later on.
It really is exciting to have crowds this early in the season, and I think that's really the excitement of the festival, is kind of a kickoff to the summer season. It's something that we really look forward to here in Grand Rapids, and it's a great time to sit back and celebrate with all of our visitors here this weekend.
Television viewers and radio listeners now getting a taste of the talents of the Grand Rapids High School Band under the direction of Joe Silko. This band, as you know, garnered up quite a bit of attention in Florida earlier this spring as they competed in the Festival of States competition in St. Petersburg, Florida. An exciting time for the band and for parents and for the Grand Rapids area as a whole, as they took second in symphony, third in field show, and perhaps you have more information about that, Sandy.
Yeah, the band took part in the Festival of States in Florida, and the Festival of States is really a national class band competition. We can really be proud of our Grand Rapids High School band. Not only did they represent Grand Rapids, but the state of Minnesota.
I vividly recall Governor Perpich proclaiming it Grand Rapids High School Band Day in Minnesota.
That's correct.
And again, the band under the direction of Joe Silko getting a round of applause as they make their way along the parade route. This parade is essentially a kickoff of the Judy Garland Festival, which is a 9-day event, Sandy, and many events to come.
That's correct, Dale. We have some ongoing events, and tonight we have one of the premier events. We have the premier festival opening at Central School from 5:30 to 8 p.m. tonight.
Mm-hmm.
This is everybody has an opportunity at this time to view the Michael Shaw exhibit, to view some of the exhibits that we have on hand at the Historical Society Museum for Judy Garland. Here comes the band.
Let's see if we can't pick him up. High School Marching Band under the direction of Joe Silko. And we should point out, Sandy, that this is a marching band competition during this parade as well as a performance.
That's correct. These kids have put in hours and hours of practice and really deserve our applause.
The television viewers were just watching one of the original Munchkins, Fern Formica, also known as Johnny Fern McDill and then renamed Jeanette Fern, who was in the motion picture The Wizard of Oz. Fern says that Mae West referred to her as her miniature double. Fern also says that Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer did not know she was only 13 years old when she was cast as the Munchkin Maid.
Just a young teenager during the making of The Wizard of Oz.
Turn the other way.
Right now, viewers are watching the 3M float.
Diane Vagel is the 1989 Aquatennial Princess. William Reiling, the 1989 Aquatennial Commodore. Let's talk about Diane.
Diane reigns as princess of the 1989 Minneapolis Aquatennial. She's from Hutchinson, Minnesota, and she was crowned during the Aquatennial Queen of the Lakes coronation last July, 1988. William Reiling is the Minneapolis Aquatennial Commodore. William is the chairman and chief executive officer of the Toll Real Estate Company in Minneapolis.
Now we see Itasca County Youth Against Smoking making its way along the parade route. Kathy Bogren is the director of the program, and they received an award from the Minnesota Department of Health earlier this year because of their efforts on behalf of a non-smoking campaign that was organized by the group. Then it's the Zura Temple Drum and Bugle Corps. Now, this is a 50-member shrine unit from Minneapolis. They are dubbed the world's most modest drum corps. I'm not entirely sure why, but the Corps does participate in parades throughout the summer season. Members range in age from 27 to 74.
It's a colorful group, Dale.
And let's see if we can listen to the Zura Temple Drum and Bugle Corps from Minneapolis. The Zura Temple Drum and Bugle Corps, a 50-member shrine unit from Minneapolis. Next along the line is the Itasca Medical Center's float. Of course, Judy Garland herself, born at that facility back in 1922. Then it's Sherry Christie's Gang of Three. Those are the clowns viewers have watched on television. Live coverage of the Judy Garland Festival Parade on KOZY, brought to you in part by Franklin Foods, featuring Kemp's Light products. That's what's new from Kemp's. Light, reduced calorie, non-fat yogurt and ice creams to provide the best tasting dairy products targeted at health-conscious consumers who are watching both calories and cholesterol.
I think viewers just saw the pro-life float sponsored by the Minnesota Citizens Concern for Life, Teens for Life, and Kansans for Life.
All right. The Reamer Civic Club float and Queen. Of course, the Queen crowned each year during the Harvest Fest, which is held in August in Reamer. And that's really quite the festival. I had the pleasure of judging the Queen contest a couple of years back, and you just won't find a friendlier community than Reamer.
Beautiful, beautiful float from Reamer, Dale.
The Reamer Civic Club float and the Reamer Queen will be followed by the Hill City High School Band under the direction of Phil Neeland. It's a 35-member band competing in the high school band contest today. Directly in front of the reviewing stand with radio listeners here in the background, Sherry Christie's Gang of Three. It looks like a few more than that at this point. And they are the parade clowns entertaining the crowd.
The parade of three has expanded, Dale.
That's right.
Quite a group of clowns.
Dale Randall, along with Sandy Lehman from the Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce, commenting as we bring you live coverage of the Judy Garland Festival Grand Parade today from the reviewing stand located directly across from Central School. Which houses the Itasca Historical Society. John Kelsch, the director, who's played such a great role in putting all of this together. John was in the Twin Cities yesterday, previewing the festival before Twin Cities media.
Yeah. There was quite a bit of publicity yesterday in the Twin Cities. Michael Shaw arriving with the Ruby Slippers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we want to remind everybody this parade that we bring you today is simply a kickoff of many, many events during this 9-day festival. And again, in front of the reviewing stand, the Reamer Civic Club float with Miss Reamer on board. Now the Hill City School Band. Phil Nealon, the director. And again, this is a competition today. Earlier, you saw Joe Silko, and we heard from Joe Silko and his band. They are competing along with the Hill City High School Band. When we make reference to what you saw, for your radio listeners out there, this presentation simulcast on ICTV Channel 2. That's what we are making reference to. Radio has not yet expanded to being a visual medium.
An interesting note, Dale, as we watch the Hill City School Band approach, Memorial Weekend, Hill City had their annual Memorial Day Festival, and as a part of that, a chainsaw carving competition. The winner of that competition carved a beautiful sculpture out of wood of the Cowardly Lion, which is now on view in the vestibule at the depot.
All right. Hill City High School Band. Live coverage of today's parade brought to you in part by Minnesota Power. Always at your service, Minnesota Power. The Hill City School Band is making its way toward the reviewing stand, and in just a few moments, we'll be able to give a good listen to the Hill City High School Band. Tonight, the premiere of the Grand Rapids Players presentation.
That's terrific. Have
you
you
the Wizard of Oz?
Have you tried to buy a ticket, Dale?
I tell you what, I found out the hard way that those tickets went in a hurry. There are some available for later in the week.
That's correct. Stop by. Those who haven't picked up their tickets can do so downstairs at the Central School. They're going quickly.
For those that want to see the presentation, yes, it is important that you purchase your tickets now. Here's the Hill City High School Band. Those that are watching on television, Dorothy and the Cowardly Lion. This is Dorothy, look-alike Lorelei Matten, and her brother is the Cowardly Lion. They are from Proctor, Minnesota. But for our radio listeners, here's the Hill City Band. Under the direction of Phil Nealon. Well, as they make their way in front of the reviewing stand, unfortunately, some of the members of the band are taking a respite here, so we'll move right along. Do hear the drum section, however. Matten as Dorothy from Proctor. Then it's the Sawmill Float. Peg Christensen put this one together with the Wizard of Oz film theme. This presented by the Sawmill Inn in Grand Rapids.
And viewers just saw the antique fire truck from the Grand Rapids Vintage Truck.
And you may be able to hear the sirens in the background. Denny Shar, Grand Rapids Fire Chief, with the vintage fire truck, and the Keewatin City float from our neighbors up the range.
It's great to have so many of our neighboring cities participating and celebrating with us today.
Now the Crystal McKinney 4-H marching unit for television viewers.
You're on your way now? Okay.
Dale Randall with Sandy Lehman from the Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce, bringing you live coverage of the Judy Garland Festival Grand Parade today on KOZY and also simulcast on ICTV Channel 2. Following the Crystal McKinney 4-H marching unit, it is the Wild Rice Float and Queen. This is Pauline Gurka from Washkish Kellier, and the Wild Rice Festival Committee sponsoring the Wild Rice Float and Queen here in today's Judy Garland Festival Parade.
quite a variety of floats today, Dale. It's unlike anything that we're used to here in Grand Rapids.
Well, I hope I'm not underestimating when I say this is just a nice parade. This is a nice parade to watch.
A nice parade on a nice day,
That's
Dale.
right. Well represented from around the area, and nice costumes and good music, and the crowd's enjoying it. You can hear, perhaps in the background now, the Odd Temple Pipe and Drum Corps. This is a 35-member Duluth Shrine unit, and as has the Zura Temple Drum and Bugle Corps and also the North Star Shrine Club Cycle Patrol, this unit has performed widely in parades and festivals. The Shrine, an active bunch, needless to say. The Odd Temple Pipes and Drum Corps from Duluth. As radio listeners will shortly be able to hear the Pipe and Drum Corps, television viewers will see the Grand Venturesloos float. The winter festival here that has grown in size, scope, and it really made winter that much more bearable here in the Grand Rapids area, Grand Venturesloos. Let's listen on radio now to the Odd Temple Pipe and Drum Corps. Go. The Vietnam Veterans Float, Grand Rapids Veterans Organizations sponsoring this float, obviously in tribute to our Vietnam veterans in the Grand Rapids area. An antique convertible making its way past the reviewing stand with Faith Wick as the Wicked Witch.
Faith Wick has recently opened a store in Grand Rapids. Invite folks to stop down and see what Faith Wick has to offer. I think I see Gunnar approaching here.
That with the Grand Venturesloos people. Charlotte McDermott carrying skis, and Charlotte, of course, has carried more than that for many years with Grand Venturesloos.
That's correct, as longtime coordinator of the Venturesloos Festival.
The Blandin Companies have entered a Wizard of Oz theme float. That's what television viewers and those along the parade route are watching. The Blandin Company's float.
The Blandin Company has a theme from the Wizard of Oz film for their float, appropriately.
You might recall the not-so-friendly trees in the forest. And there they are. And again, live coverage on KOZY and ICTV, Channel 2 today. KOZY's coverage brought to you in part by the Norwest Bank, one of the major sponsors of the Judy Garland Festival for the Grand Rapids area. Always at your service, Minnesota Power and Franklin Foods, bringing you what's new from Kemp's Light. On the Blandin Company's float, loggers and hikers and bears, oh my.
Oh, this is terrific, Dale. Live trees.
I don't recall offhand the flying chimpanzees or whatever they were called in the movie, what they were referred to, harpies or something along those lines, along with the Wicked Witch and the talking mean old trees. And the 4-H split hand unit with an entry in today's parade. Followed by the Civil Air Patrol Color Guard, representing the local Civil Air Patrol unit. Civil Air Patrol, of course, one of the many organizations involved in search and rescue in this area that those of us depend upon all too often when we're in trouble. And that is when we realize how fortunate we are to have units like the Civil Air Patrol.
I'd like to remind our listeners, Dale, that following the parade, there's going to be continuous entertainment on the grounds of the Central School today. There's the Itasca Symphony will be performing shortly after the close of the parade. So when the parade ends, it's not over, folks. There's continuous entertainment in downtown Grand Rapids today.
Dale Randall with Sandy Lehman from the Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce, bringing you commentary today on the Judy Garland Festival Grand Parade. As part of the competition with the high school bands, the Falcon Band from Foley High School, under the direction of Tim Jarnott. This is a 35-member band from Foley, Minnesota, that is competing in today's high school band contest as part of the parade, making their way in front of the ICTV Channel 2 cameras, but not yet before the reviewing stand. They will be momentarily, and we'll get a good listen to them on the radio here. They will be followed by the Sons of Norway float with a replica of a Viking ship. We'll look forward to that.
You know, there was lots of activity down here yesterday afternoon, Dale. For folks who haven't been downtown for a couple of days, we have a new yellow brick road that was just put into place yesterday, leading from the front doors of the Depot Visitor Center onto the real yellow brick road, as it were, on the grounds of Central School.
That is a permanent fixture, the yellow brick road, and if you haven't seen it, you have to. I'm going to use this phrase a lot, evidently, but it's beyond, I think, the expectations of those that we're waiting for it to be built. It is something else. All right, here's the Falcon Marching Band from Foley High School. Let's give them a listen as they make their way along the parade route in front of the reviewing stand. Television viewers watching the Sons of Norway float. Remind you that these high school bands are entered in a competition today at this festival parade.
Taking a rest, Dale. Television viewers just saw the sign from the Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce. The Grand Rapids Area Chamber welcomes you.
And I'll bet you can tell us a little bit about what the Chamber is up to these days.
Well, our Chamber ambassadors have been extremely busy the last couple of days, Dale, and they've been working on the float that the viewers on ICTV are looking at right now. Thanks goes to our Chamber ambassadors for the fundraising effort and the fast and furious work in the last couple of days to put together this beautiful float. You'll see this float in other parades, but this is the first time we've had a Chamber float in this Judy Garland parade.
And a nice one it is.
Characters from The Wizard of Oz. You'll see Judy, or Dorothy, I should say, the Cowardly Lion.
And a rainbow. What would a Wizard of Oz theme be without a rainbow, huh? Susan Johnson is Miss Minnesota 1988 as she rides along in convertible, smiling and waving at this large crowd on hand for the Judy Garland Festival Parade.
I'd like to comment that the characters that you see that you just saw passing in front of us here on the chamber float are the characters from the play Wizard of Oz. Susie Saxhog as Dorothy, Tin Man, Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow from the play.
The premiere of the Grand Rapids Players presentation of the Wizard of Oz set for 8 o'clock tonight. The Rainbow Inn with a float and again a Wizard of Oz theme with Glinda and the Munchkins.
Of course, the Rainbow Inn would have a large, beautiful rainbow on their float.
TV viewers now watching another one of the high school bands competing today. The Nashwauk-Keewatin High School Band under the director of Tom Nagel. The Grand Rapids High School Band, the Foley High School Band, Hill City High School Band, and the Grand Rapids High School Band are bands that you've heard already during the parade that are entered in today's competition.
You know, I think these bands are appreciating the gorgeous weather we have today, too, Dale. 70 degrees with a light breeze, just perfect.
Okay. It is indeed a perfect day for a parade or anything else for that matter here in the Northland. Let's listen now, if we can, to the Nashwauk-Keewatin High School Band. Nashwauk-Keewatin High School Band under the direction of Tom Nagel. Boy Scouts marching unit making its way in front of the reviewing stand now, and local troops and Cub Scouts represented.
Looks like we have Pack 21 and Pack 44. Right behind the Boy Scouts, I believe we have the Veterans of Foreign Wars float.
Causing a bit of chaos, as a float that is throwing candy overboard will generally cause.
TV viewers are getting a peek here at the North Home High School Band.
Terry Nissen, the director, and the North Home Band competing in today's competition. Military Order of Cooties Pup Tent 44 is the VFW float that's represented. And the band that viewers are watching on television, again, the North Home High School Band, and radio listeners should be able to pick that up in just a moment or two. I want to remind those listening on radio today that when we comment on watching something or other, it's because we are simulcasting today on ICTV Channel 2. Now let's give a listen to the North Home High School Band. of good music here today, and we want to remind you that the bands that are performing are also competing today. The judges' stand is down the way, Sandy, and they will make their judgment, as it were, a bit later on.
Viewers were just treated to the Blackberry 4-H float. It looks like another Emerald City float coming our way.
4-H is well represented today. The split hand 4-H unit was here, and also the Blackberry 4-H was represented. Crystal McKinney 4-H has already passed by in today's parade. The Blackberry 4-H float with a Wizard of Oz theme.
We have the junior edition of the Wicked Witch, the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and the Straw Man on the 4-H float.
Local antique car clubs with have to be highlights here in the parade. Antique cars, obviously. And viewers along the parade route and on television as well, getting a look at some of the antique cars. They are active clubs here in the area.
They certainly are.
An annual, huge annual show up at the fairgrounds.
The last Sunday in July, I think everyone in Grand Rapids area is aware of the Antique Car Club show and swap at the fairgrounds. Another big drawing card for Grand Rapids.
I'm only guessing. I would say that's about a 55 Ford, perhaps. And we get any earlier than that, and I'm afraid
before our time, right, Dale?
Yep. Itasca Vintage Car Club and the Northern Cruisers, just some of the clubs here in the area. Live coverage of the Judy Garland Festival Grand Parade on KOZY, brought to you in part by the Norwest Bank, one of the major sponsors of the Judy Garland Festival in the Grand Rapids area. Also, Minnesota Power, always at your service. Minnesota Power and Franklin Foods. They'll show you what's new from Kemp's Light.
You know, Dale, tomorrow there's going to be another parade. Following the dedication of the Yellow Brick Road at 1:30, about 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be having the Children's Parade down the Yellow Brick Road.
All right. Yeah, the events will be coming fast and furiously here over the next 9 days. This festival to run through June 18th. Again, the classic cars making their way along the parade route, and this throng on hand admiring. I do believe that is an Edsel. Sandy?
I think you're right, Dale.
Dale Randall with Sandy Lehman, Executive Director of the Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce, with today's live coverage of the Judy Garland Festival Grand Parade from downtown Grand Rapids. The kickoff of this incredible festival commemorating the town where a star was born.
Tonight will, as I mentioned earlier, will be the premiere opening of the festival and the Michael Shaw exhibit starting at 5:30 in the Central School.
That includes, and they're estimating now that they're valued at $1 million, Sandy, the ruby slippers and the witch's hat and shoes, the blue gingham dress worn by Dorothy. Also, they did some research on this, and evidently they have determined that this pair of ruby slippers, there are more than one pair, this pair is the pair that in the motion picture the witch tries to remove and the little lightning bolts are coming off. And
that's correct, Dale. Now, folks are reminded that the ruby slippers are one small part of the exhibit tonight. There's lots to see, local exhibits as well as the exhibits brought in from MGM Studios.
Next, we're going to see the Trout Lake 4-H with their float. Again, the 4-H well represented in today's Judy Garland Festival Parade. Judy Garland, my understanding, did pay a visit to Grand Rapids about 1938-39. when she was in her late teens.
That's correct. Many folks in the Grand Rapids area well remember that visit.
She said that she was always proud of having been a Minnesotan.
John Saxog, Claude Titus, many others well remember having danced with Judy Garland when she returned on her visit. Looks like a birthday cake for Judy here on the 4-H float.
For those that don't know, today is the anniversary of Judy Garland's birthday. Would have been 67 years old, having been born at what is now Itasca Medical Center in Grand Rapids on June 10th of 1922. The Itasca County Historical Society, with its float displaying a log cabin and the Wicked Witch of the West on top. Want to play a little ball, Scarecrow? And the Minnesota Marching Ambassadors from Long Prairie, the Long Prairie High School Band would be another name for it, will make their way in front of the reviewing stand. Again, a competition between the high school bands. Long Prairie High School Marching Band under the direction of Ray Gove. This is a 130-member band competing in the band contest. One of the larger bands in the parade today. We touched on the yellow brick road a bit, and that is something that's drawing a lot of attention. A permanent fixture. The bricks have been inscribed with the names of area residents, businesses, slogans, even what appear to be private messages known only to those who inscribed them. Kathy Gallus from the Visitor and Convention Bureau advises me that the Long Prairie Band, which you are about to hear, also competed in the Festival of States in St. Petersburg along with the Grand Rapids High School Marching Band earlier this year. Let's give them a listen. The Long Prairie High School Band. Showing its approval of the Long Prairie High School Band under the direction of Ray Gove.
TV viewers just had a look at the Hill Annex Mine tour bus. Hill Annex Mine this year has become the newest Minnesota State Park.
Okay, and that's quite the bus. It's not your ordinary run-of-the-mill bus. Almost looks like a trolley.
This is the bus that will take visitors to the Hill Annex Mine down into the mine pit.
All right. The Northern Lights Saddle Club is a local horse riding unit. Television viewers are watching the Northern Lights Saddle Club at this time. Getting back to the yellow brick road, Sandy, again, personal messages, names of residents,
commemorations,
sure.
memorials,
anything. And interestingly enough, and I think that a lot of area residents who did not get their messages inscribed will be glad to hear this. They can still do it.
Absolutely.
Even though the road is in place now. Just simply get a hold of John Kelsch at the Itasca County Historical Society, and he'll let you know what to do. So the Northern Lights Saddle Club wraps up this kickoff of the Judy Garland Festival commemorating Judy's birthday and also the 50th anniversary of the release of the motion picture The Wizard of Oz. Our live coverage on KOZY has been brought to you in part by Minnesota Power, always at your service. Minnesota Power. The Norwest Bank, a major sponsor of the Judy Garland Festival in the Grand Rapids area. And by Franklin Foods. Find out what's new from Kemp's Light. Reduced calorie, non-fat yogurt, and reduced calorie ice cream. Kemp's Light from Franklin Foods. Dale Randall with Sandy Lehman from the Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce. It's been my pleasure to have you with me here today.
Thank you, Dale. It's been terrific. I thank you for the opportunity. What a great kickoff for this festival.
And, of course, we invite all of our listeners and viewers on ICTV Channel 2, which has also presented live coverage of the parade today, to stay with us. There's more to come. This festival, a 9-day event, and certainly one of the highlights of the summer for the entire state of Minnesota, the Judy Garland Festival in Grand Rapids. For Sandy Lehman, I'm Dale Randall. That concludes our live coverage of the Judy Garland Festival Grand Parade from downtown Grand Rapids.